giving you more to chew on.
What is going on, everyone? It's LP for Bite Size News, giving you more to chew on, nom nom nom. And chew on this. Catwoman 51, the iconic cover by Adam Hughes, apparently is starting to spike in at least what people want to sell it for on the E of the Bay. And if you want to know more about what's going on with this iconic cover, check us out on the flip side from the sponsor ad. All right, thanks for checking into the video, and we'll get into the meat and bones of all this here in a second. I just want to promote the eBay store, Niobe Comics, eBay.com, where we have this beautiful Niobe Outbreak #1 and #2 variant cover set. Virgin variants done by Zenoscope master Keith Garvey. If you like these or anything else that's along these lines, perhaps check out my eBay store and see what's there for you. All right, back from the flip, and everyone go pick up some Niobe today off of eBay. So here we go. We got a post on Facebook, and this isn't exactly blowing up or anything, but it kind of just went down. I do want to check it out, and I want to see if there's any validity to it. He says, I never understand that sellers are trying to push raw prices of comics up, such as Catwoman 51, the classic cover. The comic raw is supposed to be $100 to $150. But for some reason, sellers are trying to push the comic like it's 200 plus ungraded. But I would understand the price jump if the 9.8 counterpart was valued at like $600. But it does make sense since the 9.8 is currently going for $300, maybe $340 at the lowest sale. I saw this year that a buy it now was at $290, and the lowest sale for an auction was $220. Well, I mean, let's pause there. If that's what they're selling for, then that's what they're selling for. A book like this is going to be in high demand. Why? Because it is just such a badass cover. And every year that goes by, the older it gets. Okay? So it's just the way it is, you know? Then I saw some sellers try to justify the price increase to say, oh, most collectors want raw, not slab books, which is the biggest lie I think I've ever heard in the comic book hobby. Some sellers are great, but some are just kind of weird. No, I actually believe that people want raw books more than graded books, and I'll tell you why. And it's a really simple answer. Money. That's right, money. I mean, you talk about a book, around the $200 range, and you talk about its CG counterpart if it was valued at like $600, thus upping the price by 3 times the amount simply because it's encased in a plastic slab. No, you can actually stem to make more money by buying and flipping raw books, and I'll tell you why. Because people don't have the cash in their pocket for larger, bigger buys at the moment, right? To splurge, anywhere, 400, 500, $600 on a 9.8 for this comic sounds like a waste when that could be like, your groceries for the next couple of weeks, gas in the car, roof over your head, right? Or you can buy the counterpart for 100 to 150, probably still get a nice pristine copy. And should you want to have it graded, you can opt to spend the $40 yourself and send it in and get graded and still saving money as opposed to buying it outright from someone on eBay. It just is. I happen to have a copy of this comic myself. I happen to believe that my copy is a 9.8 candidate. Now, I've been, sort of wrestling with the options of, do I sell it? Do I just hold on to it? Do I get it graded and then sell it? And the jury's still out on all of this, right? Um, Sometimes I feel like the longer I hold on to certain comics, the more they'll go up. Sometimes I feel like the longer I hold on to certain comics, the potential there is for them to go down. That's market fluctuation, and I can't control that. All I can do is control when I think might be the time to strike. I am, 51 years old. I know I don't look it, right? I'm pretty fucking cute. But I'm 51 years old, and I'm surrounded by comic books. And at some point, I do have to get rid of these, Now, I'm not in a rush to sell my most expensive stuff. But I will periodically, from time to time, list some things on my eBay that aren't necessarily Niobe and Savage Sin, right? And if you go take a look, you'll go ahead and see what I got to offer. Now, at some point, maybe when I'm feeling the desperate need or really need some extra cash, or, just finally make the decision to completely remove the comic book collection from the house, then you may see me start to list things like this. But I will be doing so very carefully. This book, I probably would send in to get graded, even though it might be a harder sell online. Why? Because it is so iconic. I think there are certain books that if you are going to plan to sell, maybe they should be encased in plastic. Not just because it ups the value, though it helps, but because you're transporting this from one location to another, usually via mail. And the case protects the comic. That's the whole idea about having the case, is preserve the comic. Keep the comic in the condition that it is from the time it was graded, right? But anyway, I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hip. I just thought this would be a fun, quick video to make. And I think maybe what we should do, though, is go ahead and flip on over to eBay to see exactly what this comic is going for, what people are listing it for, and what people are actually selling it for. So we'll see you on the flip. Da-na-na-na-na-na. All right, here we are on the E of the Bay, eBay. And I am looking at some listings. So let's go ahead and now keep in mind, these are just what people are asking for. These aren't what exactly the sale listings are. We'll check those in a minute. But we have Catwoman 51, Adam Hughes, DC 2006. Keep in mind the prices I'm showing you are American, or sorry, not American, but Canadian. And so maybe take off 20 to 30% and you'll get a better idea. $340, probably around 280-ish, give or take, for Catwoman 51. We have another one here, 9.8, 2003 facsimile for 117 graded. Not worth the time or trouble. We have another one here again, 300 Canadian, probably around 250-ish American, 261 Canadian. They're funny enough, that's pretty fucking cool. I wasn't expecting to see that, but we did a Catwoman 51 swipe for Niobe. And you can get one for 19.95 Canadian from me on eBay right now. It's interesting. There's the Black Cat sort of swipe. I don't see a whole lot of them listed. This one here is signed by Adam Hughes, 9.8, yellow label, $400 Canadian. Probably around 320 or so American. Yeah, not a lot of them listed. That would be a hell of a buy. Catwoman, you pick. I don't know. I don't know about that. We got a CGC for $476. That's probably about, maybe just 380, 390 Canadian. The higher the number gets, the worse the conversion rate seems to be. Like, you see lots of swipes on this cover, though. Very popular cover. It's half the reason why it's commanding so much money. But let's see what it's actually selling for. Let's go into the sales. Let's take a look. Maybe I should put mine up now if it's going to net me $300. Fuck, I don't know. So, sold. Now, these are sale listings. This is the real deal. On May 5th, one sold 9.8 for $476 Canadian. That's probably about just right around the $400 mark for this book. We have another one, also 9.8, May 3rd, selling for 280 Canadian. Let's see if there's any others listed here. 476. Raw copy. Now, this is important, right? Because right now, a lot of this that we've been looking at in CGC, but we have a raw copy that's sold for $229 Canadian. 490, that's almost $500 there Canadian. 442, 449, 369, raw copy 300. $388. 9.6 yellow label, $476. We have a set here, $200. That probably would have been a really good buy, maybe. $217. This was April 11th. That's for the foiled variant though, so it doesn't count. Yeah. $250, 9.6, It'd be almost like if you sent it in, right? And you got the 9.6, fuck you, you'd almost want to take it out of the slab. You know what I mean? Because the real value for this book is 9.8. You put a 9.8 on this, you up this just by one smidge, and you change that 250 to nearly $400 because you're essentially commanding the same amount of money for a raw copy as you are for a 9.6. Insanity. Well, I happen to own this book and a few other of the classic Adam Hughes Catwoman books. I'm probably going to hold on to this for a little while, but there will come a time when I'm going to send in more Niobe for grading. And when I do, I might sneak that one and a couple of others that I have along with them in the hopes and prayers that it is a 9.8. Otherwise, I would just say your best bet is to sell it raw. Let's go raw dog. But that's just my opinion, and we know what opinions are like. Everyone has one, right? But let me know what yours is. Give me something to chew on, and if we have enough food on the plate, then we'll go over your comments in a future video. Until then, keep care, spike your hair.